so excited to have you guys a part of this movement that I'm on. So before we get started, I just wanted to talk about how this came about and the vision of wanting to move the community forward. I remember for many years attending events just like this and leaving on an adrenaline rush, ready to take on the world, ready to move forward, create businesses, build wealth, and going home and having that adrenaline rush and then realizing that I was stuck. I didn't have strategies and all I had was emotions. So I got frustrated and I said, no, we need strategies and we don't need emotions. We don't need to come here and just network and feel inspired and feel motivated and say that we're going to cheerlead all the vendors that we see on here. We need to talk about strategies for our people. Because as Black entrepreneurs, I see a vision for us that is bigger than we can see in our mind. And the vision that I see for us Black entrepreneurs is multi-millionaires. Yes. There's multi-millionaires in this room. And we're not going to leave you guys going home today without getting a word and without getting value and strategies for your business, not just in business, but in life. Do y'all feel me? Do y'all feel me? Black people, do you feel me? So excuse me if I'm a little bit hyped because I feel multi-millionaires in the room. Are you multi-millionaire? I believe you are, sister. I believe it and I feel it in your blood. So please join me on this journey that we're about to have because we're about to move you forward. And that's what we're about. That's what we're going to do today. We're about to move forward. And I'm really excited. The first thing that I love to do to set it off, to set the tone, is I want you to turn to your neighbor and you're going to say, I can.
Okay.
Turn to the next neighbor and say, I will.
I will.
No, come on, get up. Let's shake up the room here. Stand up, everyone. Let's do this for real. Let's do this for real. Where's my vendors at? Where's my entrepreneurs at? Where's my multi-millionaires at? Turn to your neighbor and said, I can. And baby, I will. And I must. Yes, I can, I will, and I must. Turn to somebody behind you and say these words confidently. I can, I will, and I must.
Okay.
Here we go. Let's go. Clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. How are you guys feeling? Because I'm feeling good. So we have a special time today planned for everyone, and we're going to be talking just about strategies today, and we're going to be talking about value. And actually, somebody told me that we can't get your attention for 30 minutes. And I said, no, I believe we can get your attention for 30 minutes because we're about to birth some millionaires today. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. The first thing we're going to talk about is AI. And for those that don't know me, I am an expert in artificial intelligence. I'm probably one of the only Black women in Toronto that's talking about it, and it's for a reason. And I am here today to talk about it. I don't want anybody to be scared. So we're going to talk and we're going to show some illumination around the topic.
Oh, fuck, I didn't even see that.
You guys feeling me? So let's get out our phones because anybody that knows my podcast, we are about to get some strategies going. And I want to talk about a quote. There's a famous individual in artificial intelligence. His name is Andrew Ng, and he has a quote that says, artificial intelligence will be the new electricity. And for those that don't know history, when electricity came about, they didn't know what to do with it. It actually took humans 40 years to adapt to electricity. And now we have Andrew Ng that is saying artificial intelligence is going to be the new electricity. So just to put something into perspective, this is not in 1965 when they came out with steam. That changed a few things for manufacturing companies, but artificial intelligence, AI, they're saying electricity. So AI is going to light up the street. It's going to change the way we do business. It's going to change the way that we do just our lives. And now is the time I want to wake up the Black community because there's never been a time like this where we're at the table, at the forefront of something amazing. If you're born in 1980, I don't want to expose my age, but if you are, we came into a time where there were CDs and cassettes. Who remembers CDs and cassettes?
Mixtapes.
Who remember has to go to the radio to record those songs and calling the DJ saying, play my song because I need to record it for my voicemail.
For milk. Yeah, I know.
That's where my technology started.
Yes.
So we have a new generation that's being birthed right now, that's being birthed in artificial intelligence. So we're in a revolution. We're at the cusp of a revolution, and I don't want no one to be behind. I don't want no Black entrepreneur to be behind. So if you're scared about it, we're about to change and shift the paradigm. Are you guys ready for a shift? Awesome. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is artificial intelligence, and that's where we're going to start, because I know that a lot of people may not know exactly what it is, but if you think about it, it's really like giving a computer a brain. Let's mute all of our distractions because we're about to lock in. Let's mute our phones right now because we need to lock in, guys. So it's about giving a computer a brain to think just like humans, a brain to reason. So if we think about computers when we were growing up, or even 10 years ago, the way that computers were designed, it was about telling it to do something. Right? If we think about it, you would go onto an email, you'd create an email, you'd hit send, and you're telling the computer what to do. Now we have a technology that's being designed, which is called artificial intelligence, where you can actually allow it to reason just like a human. And actually, as of right now, as I speak, artificial intelligence is even more intelligent than a human. So if we look at how it's working, right? It's about to change things and propel us into an intelligence revolution. And I really want us to be a part of this revolution. It's a great time to embark on this. So I wanted to talk about two things. The first thing is I want to talk about the new era of small business. And feel free to take notes because I think it's a great learning opportunity for us all, because I had an opportunity to speak with a lot of people outside and they were saying the same thing. I'm so scared of AI. I don't even know what it's doing. I don't know where it is. But we're going to start to level up right now. So the new era for small businesses, because we have a lot of owners in the room and we have a lot of people with big dreams. So the biggest opportunity right now when we look at the new era of small businesses is accessibility. If we look back many years, and I'm going to focus on Black entrepreneurs, is we didn't have access to these technologies. It was actually kept within a particular certain group of people. So large corporations, those that could afford it, government, Netflix. You guys ever go on Netflix and all of a sudden it's bringing up your favorite movies and you're just like, how is this happening? This is all AI. So the accessibility right now has changed where we actually now we all have access to it. If you want to start a business, you can start a business today and you can leverage these technologies. So like I said previously, these advanced tools and technologies, they were not given to us, right? Now we can actually, just down to the smallest business. And actually when I was getting into business many years ago, I sat down with a millionaire and I asked him how he scaled, and he said I had to hire on about 1,000 employees. This model has changed. And this is why I said there's millionaires in this room, because if you leverage AI within your company, you don't even have to hire no one. You can build businesses, multi-million businesses through AI. And it's just by learning one big word. Actually, we said this in Atlanta every time we went there, is integrate. It's like, how do we integrate AI into our work right now, into our daily businesses? Because this is how you're going to be able to stay up with the times. And I don't want anybody to be left behind. So that's the biggest thing, is accessibility. The next one is efficiency and growth. So AI can actually start to streamline your operations. And the way you can do that is a lot of us will sit there and do these mundane tasks within our business over and over again. Sending out emails, talking to customers, calling them, looking for leads. But you can actually develop an AI bot, a chat bot as an example, to replace some of these mundane tasks. And if you start to look at AI, when you think about efficiency and growth, the best thing that we have access to now is data. You can actually go on apps, and I'm going to drop some very exclusive apps for you guys to take home and look at. But you can actually go online now and get data into any business that you operate, right? Who's heard of ChatGPT? So I see some hands down. So this is a great opportunity. If you don't know about ChatGPT, I urge you to take some time to learn about a few apps that I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to go into that very soon. But I want to touch upon the opportunities for Black entrepreneurs right now. We're at a place where the leveling field is open for us. And it's never been like this before. When things were being built, and I'll talk about insurance and finance, when these tables were being built, we were not at the table. But we're at the forefront of the digital era that's about to take over, not just insurance industry, not just healthcare, but every industry. And that's why I made the comment in the beginning that this is a revolution, because in a few years from now, you're going to wish that you had taken advantage of some of these tools, because we don't know how long it's going to be available. Sorry, so we're at a time, it's a great time to be alive. I want to drop some exclusive gems before we get our panel on that I want to get you to lock into. www.thewarehouse.ai. Has anybody heard about this? Nope.
Say it again.
www.thewarehouse.ai. This is a marketplace full of AI tools. All you got to do is put your industry into this marketplace, and it starts to give you the apps that you need to scale your business. You don't need to hire anyone. You don't need funding. You can just research and find ways to scale your business. Is everybody following me? The next one is a big one, ChatGPT, which I spoke about. Love to go into this. This is top tier. And for those that haven't heard about this, you can actually go into ChatGPT and ask it anything. It's like your smart friend. You don't have to think anymore. You want to create content? Prompt it. Create a 30-second content for my Instagram caption. Make it so good that I have 30% engagement. And it creates content for you. Who wants to write a book? Anybody want to write a book? I see a few hands. You don't have to actually sit there and write a book anymore. ChatGPT will write it for you. All you got to do is prompt it, tell it what you want it to write, and it's a game changer. So those that have never used ChatGPT, I urge you, actionable advice right now in a step is to go home and try ChatGPT. Humans have never gone through an upgrade, and I was actually talking to somebody out there about this. Everybody has a phone, right? We're at iPhone, 615? And the human brain has actually never gone through a software update. And it's like, how do we have a software update? And the only way to do that is through learning, is through taking time to build and invest in yourself, right? Another way is to go on ChatGPT. When I started telling people that, because I do consulting on the side, and somebody said to me, I have this big dream, but I don't know how to put it in a business plan. I said, go on ChatGPT. It can write business plans. It can even respond to your clients. If you're tired of responding to those mundane, those messages and telling people about your shea butter and all this good stuff, go on to ChatGPT. You can definitely have and leverage these actual platforms. Another one is Claude AI. This is a great platform. If you're looking to have an assistant and you don't have the funds to hire somebody physically, you can actually go online, go to Claude.ai and hire your first assistant. So the AI revolution is upon us. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Are you tired of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same results? Because I know I was. Sorry, nobody's tired of doing the same thing over and over, expecting, yeah, because I'm tired. With the systemic racism that's happening within Canada, how do we exceed? When you try to go for funding for your business, you get declined. When you try to go after and start to network with people and telling them about your business and nobody's giving you money, nobody's investing, you start to feel stuck, like I said in the beginning. But we're talking about strategies today. And I have guest speakers that's going to be coming to the stage very soon that's going to allow us to really look at how do we get funding within our business? How do we start a business if we don't have money? A lot of us is in survival mode. So the only way to get out of survival mode is honestly take my advice, guys. AI. Don't be scared of it. It's a revolution, and it's about to take over. Thank you. So we're about to shift gears, and I'm going to introduce some major players in Toronto. And the first thing I want to say is, first off, if you don't follow me, take out your phones and follow me, because we're on a movement to move people forward. I want to bring to the stage Shay. She founded Finance for the Culture to offer relatable financial education to Canadians. From having just 200 and a 476 credit score 3 years ago, she mastered money management. She was able to save $40,000 and invest $20,000 within a year. She's now a financial advisor who has led over 100 workshops and assisted clients in clearing $100K in debt. I welcome Shay to the stage. Thank you. Our next guest speaker, his name is Charles. He's actually the second between 19 Keys, but the second male to be on our podcast. And he has over 7 years of expertise in sales and finance, enhancing his service to a diverse set of clients. He plays a pivotal role as a project manager for a major real estate investment firm. He is a key founding member of Ontario's premium real estate network and education company aimed to assist marginalized communities. Give it up for Charles. Not least but not last, or last but not least, there we go, thank you, is Joëlle. I'm so excited to have her. Actually, I did some research on her and I was really taken back. Thank you for blessing us with your presence, because she's an award-winning community advocate. She's a founder of Sisters in Sync. She empowers Black girls and women to thrive. With 5+ years in campaign management and organizational development, she aids businesses and nonprofits in funding access, securing over $2 million through her grant writing. She's made an impact, and she's made an impact by getting 2021 the YWCA Hamilton Trailblazer Award, and in 2022 the L'Oreal Paris Woman of Worth. Give it up to Joëlle. So just before we kick off on the panel, we're going to just go do a Q&A to ask did anyone have any questions about AI? Worth. Give it up to Joëlle. So just before we kick off on the panel, we're going to just go do a Q&A to ask did anyone have any questions about AI?
Since 2016. Is there any way us as Black people, as great as the resources are there, could we start AI on our own? Because I'm interested in the idea and the notion of creating a search engine and a model based on my beliefs and my thought patterns. instead of trying to source and find answers from whoever programmed ChatGPT, because apparently Microsoft already put $10 billion into it, and I doubt I'll be able to change whatever vision ChatGPT thinks the world should be.
Amazing question. So we are at the forefront of AI, and what that means is that there is a bias that's taking place right now in artificial intelligence, and those that don't see it, like I said, you're right, 10 years from now, they're gonna design everything. So like I said, if you are in an industry now that has a problem that needs to be solved, you can actually develop your own AI app. I'm actually an AI developer. So you can come talk with me outside, and we can build you anything you want to fill that gap or problem within your industry. But it's a great time, like I said, to be alive, because right now, the grant investors and everyone, they're investing in AI because this is the future. So if you think that you're behind already, no, you're not. We're just at the beginning, right? So it's a great time. Like I said, if you're in an industry now that has a huge problem, or you're frustrated about this particular maybe an operation or a procedure, you can actually create your own AI. And you can seek developers like myself to create that for you. And all you gotta do is pitch it to companies. Any other questions? No? Good? Well, let's get to it. My first question to my guest is, how can mastering personal finances make a significant impact when launching a new business?
Hello. Okay, cool. So, I'm sure you all know how important personal finance is. If we don't understand how money works, and if we don't understand how to use our money, how to leverage debt, how to make sure we're properly protected, how to invest, it's going to be very hard to stay afloat. I'm sure all of you felt a bit of the shift and strain when COVID happened. And who here has heard that it's going to happen again? Have you been seeing posts that it might happen again?
Everybody's sick.
Like, and it's going to affect our ability to save, to invest, to build. So the sooner you acknowledge whether you need to improve your finances or not, and the sooner you take action, the better. There's no denying it. If you don't know how to manage your money, there's no way you're going to be able to move forward. So it's super key, right? And then when it comes to the business side of things, I personally find a lot of people, their personal finance habits seep into their business habits, and they don't want to admit it. If you are horrible with debt personally, chances are it's going to seep into your business. So you have to get your personal finances right so that you can make sure that your business elevates.
Thank you. Do you guys have anything to share about that, or?
Yeah, and to Shay's point, like, understanding how to manage your own money actually plays a huge role, especially when you're in a space where you're getting a lot of funding from funders. Right now, you don't really have to report to anybody, right? Like, you can spend $50 and that's just $50. But when you start to get into the space where you have to provide a report, you have to account for every dollar that you spend, if you can't account for that by yourself, there's no way that you'll be able to manage money. And so I know that, like, as Black entrepreneurs, we want to get to the money right away, right? Like, that's all we care about. It's like, all that extra stuff is lovely, but where's the money? But unless you acknowledge how you spend and how you view money, because I think we all have different relationships with money. So if you know that you're the type of person that exists on a scarcity mentality, that every dollar feels like the last, so you're either like hyper-focused on spending it, or for you it's like money comes and go and you're just spending it, you know, willy-nilly, that transfers into business. And once you can not show how to like manage your money in your personal life, when you go for the loans, they're not going to give you, right? So many of us here are probably all startups. You're not going to get money without them seeing how you spend your own money, right? So you really have to take that into consideration. Maybe the reason why you haven't been getting funding or loans is because you have a poor financial history, right? So unless you begin to really address that, there's honestly no way that anyone's gonna trust you, even with something as small as $5,000, for you to be able to actually like steward that properly and spend it how you're supposed to spend it.
That's beautiful.
I'll just jump in real quickly. Just even break it down even a little more simpler. We're in a credit-based country. That's it. So credit being your personal credit score. So if that's not in line, even like you said, even getting a 5,000 or 10,000 personal line of credit from the bank will be impossible. And your credit score essentially tells the bank your credit worthiness. So how do you actually use the lines of credits and the credit cards you currently have? So if that's not in line, well, you are left with either crowdfunding or borrowing from mom and dad, if that's even a possibility. So just start there, and it makes your life probably a lot easier.
Perfect. I remember sitting down actually a few years ago, and it's to your guys' point. Like, yeah, we have these big dreams of, you know, wanting to be millionaires and multimillionaires, but if you can't even manage $5, sorry, how are you going to manage more, right? And these are things that we have to think about. Is you said it very clearly. If you don't know how to manage your personal life, who's going to give you money to manage a business? And you can't even manage $5, 10. So it's about growing pains. And that's what my next thing is. Can you guys provide some strategies now, some key strategies for someone that is trying to start a business that may not have that financial IQ? How do they start, and where do they start?
Hi, come to me. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. But the first thing is education and information, right? We need to understand the foundational concepts of how money works. And you may be sitting here thinking like, I know how money works. Trust me, there's always something to learn. I talk to clients on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people don't understand debt and credit. They don't understand what it is. They don't really understand why they need a credit score. They don't understand interest rates. They don't understand investing, so they're afraid to invest. So the concepts that we need to learn, interest rates, all of those things, we're not learning that in school. And then we're learning things on social media, and it's not a bad thing. Obviously, I have a platform on social media, but you need to sit down with someone who's going to take a look at your situation and figure out what gaps need to be filled, right? So the first thing is asking for help, being open to the information, and then also actually implementing the information. We need to stop reading, and then not doing anything, right? So that's the first thing. Acknowledging where you are, getting that help, and then creating a plan or having someone help you create a plan to implement those strategies.
You hear it all? Yeah.
I think one of the first things for me getting into business, and even just knowing that there was a lot of ways to access funding, was acknowledging that I need help, right? I think a lot of the times we have this really we're going to do it ourselves mentality, and even this shame sometimes that carries because you've made some stupid financial decisions when you were younger, and maybe you don't know how to bounce back, or there's this pressure where you feel like at a certain age you should have earned a certain amount of money and stuff like that, so people tend to just not be open about it. And I think when we see people like Shay who have their own businesses that are there to support and help, I think as a community, because I mean, let's be real, we don't like to borrow money, right? We don't like to have to owe somebody something, let alone giving money out, right? But that's also one of the things that is missing, right? Is that idea of knowing that our dollar can go further when we share it with one another. And so things such as like gatekeeping, whether it's resources or tools or programming and stuff like that. Like, I know for me, like, I helped write a grant for my friend and she got more than I did. And naturally you're like, what the heck? This, you know, like we're both in the same field, we're both competing for the same thing. So it's being one, open and willing to let people know what your situation is, let people know that you need help. Because even if you, let's say, have the same business as someone, we're really not competition, right? At the end of the day, there's a lot of room for everybody. So really just sharing your idea with folks, seeing where people can come in and step in and support, you never know who you'll be talking to. You never know who that person knows that can get you on the right track financially, whether it's cleaning up that history or even giving you that one, seed money that you need to really get to the next level. So just be as open and as transparent with your finances, because at a certain point we were all going through the same thing, right? And so what you went through can be that stepping stone for somebody else.
Perfect.
You guys hit all the points that I was going to make, so you guys.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, there's this thing that came to mind when you were talking, like the crabs in the bucket mentality, where we just want to keep pulling each other down. And I think this is a great time to just open up that awareness that you don't have to gatekeep or hold things back. There's a great quote that says, each one teach one. And actually, the more that you start teaching and stop gatekeeping, we can actually start to rise as a community, because we want to get into the decision makers in the homes and really start to help each other. So I love that you said it. It's no time to gatekeep. Honestly, if you come to my page, my whole page is about education, and I put it out there. I could have kept AI to myself and gone off and make millions, but I'm just like, you know what? I have to come back, and I have to add all the knowledge that I have. Charles, I see your content. It's always about giving and giving, not taking, right? So I love that point that you made. And we're gonna just keep sitting with strategies. So there's something that you guys brought up as well, because a lot of us suffer from pride. That's our biggest issue emotionally, is that we don't want to sit down with somebody and tell them our faults, or maybe we have and that person has hurt us by telling other people. So how do we truly seek, because there's a lot of people on Instagram claiming to be coaches, and if I'm lying, call me out, but there's a lot of people that don't have the resume and the credibility. So what are some strategies when you're trying to look to and trust your debt and your issues that you're going for? How can you find people out there where you can trust them?
So at least for me personally, I would say my mentor sitting in the front row right here, his name is Alman, is honestly, you just have to find someone that you see what they're doing in their business. And naturally, when you're sitting with someone and you're beside someone on a daily basis, they can't lie. You see everything that's happening. And if you want to be like that in 5, 10, 15 plus years, well, you simply shadow them and figure out how they do it. And if you have to do what they're doing, work for free, whatever the case may be, that's the easiest way, right? Because you want to replicate someone that you want to admire or be like, whether it be from a business or from a family perspective. It doesn't always have to be about money, but in general, it can be any really field or atmosphere of life, right? But look at someone you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years and copy exactly what they do. I would say is the biggest cheat code.
Yeah, big gem. Copy what they do, make it your own. The blueprint is out there. You don't need to recreate the wheel. Look what people are doing and find the success in others. Joëlle?
I think for me, it's always been approaching it with transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to say, yeah, I don't have it, or I've never had it, or I'm still working to get it. When I was in university, like I always operated on scarcity mentality, but in a way that made me aggressively save, because I was like, well, I'm in school by myself. My parents aren't paying for my education. They're not paying my rent. They're not doing all these things. So I put myself to work a lot. So it was a matter of, the friends are going out first year, second year, everyone's drinking, everyone's having a lovely time, but I was just stuck in this mentality of like, oh, I'm gonna be poor if I spend $5, or I'm gonna be this if, I don't steward my money properly. And then I got to a place where a friend really told me, they're like, yo, this mentality that you have can actually lead you in a worse situation than you actually are. And I didn't quite understand what they meant by that. And looking back, I'm like, wow, when you exist in a space where you're keeping things to yourself, or where you're operating on too much of a high, like an extreme, it can get you to maybe seek money in the wrong places. It can get you to do the wrong dealings with people, right? Because rather than telling somebody, hey, someone approached me and they want to give me $30,000, no interest, no strings attached, you go with that, and then you find yourself in a worse situation. Whereas you can just literally go to somebody, and I think, even when I think back to things such as like the Nigerian prince that sends you an email and is like, I need $5,000, my uncle's in jail, and like my cousin is in the room right now, and we almost fell for something like that related to housing. We were looking at a condo to rent, and the person was and we were like, this is amazing. And my dad was there, like all three of us, dumb as hell. We were like, wow, like this person's saying if we give them like all these checks, we get the money, and they're not gonna be there to view the place. And people go through these things, but then they get too embarrassed to talk about it. But when you are able to openly talk about it to somebody and say, you know what, like, I got this email, somebody was trying to offer me $5,000 to, start a business or to clear my debt, because no shade or anything, but whenever somebody tells you to pay them to clear your debt, to me personally, that's something to be worried about, right? Like, why am I paying you to help clear my debt? Like, what do you know about my debt and this $500 that you're gonna get that I don't know? You know what I mean? So really just making sure that you're very transparent about your experiences and that you're asking questions, because the right people in your circle will never make you feel less than.
Yeah.
Wow, gems dropping. We're gonna go to the audience and take some questions. So does anybody have any questions about finance and their business that they want to have answered?
Oh.
Thank you. Any questions so far?
Yeah. No.
Thank you.
In my capacity and in my career, one of the things I notice is, unfortunately, a lot of people of color have poor credit, not because of mistakes that they made, but because, unfortunately, a giver that was supposed to love and cherish them has taken things out in their name. So by the time they're of age and they realize, how on earth do I have a 400 or 500 credit score, and they start seeing all these things that were taken out of their name. And there's also situations where, unfortunately, when they try to help somebody and they have co-signed, that person has now decided to not pay it off, and they tell them, oh, don't worry, it's gonna drop off in 7 years. What's your advice in the situations? I definitely believe in paying for the own debt that you have taken off, but how do we navigate the legal action to take to not be responsible for either co-signing and somebody that we love defaulting, messing up our credit, or somebody that was supposed to be caring for us taking out stuff in our name?
Right, so I can't speak for the legal aspect. I would say when it comes to situations where parents have taken out things in their child's name, it all comes down to financial literacy. Like, if we are more informed about the importance of getting our stuff together and managing our money properly, we wouldn't have to do that. Because a parent taking something out of their kid's name, that sounds like their credit's trash. Right? So, for lack of better words, right? So, again, building that foundation so we can make better financial decisions. Now, when it comes to co-signing, again, I was just gonna touch on this. You were asking about how to seek out people and how to know who to trust. You need to ask questions. You need to be curious. You have to vet people out. And at the end of the day, as Charles mentioned, your credit score is like your financial resume. So it is a summary of your financial habits, and people judge you on it. So you need to make sure that you're taking care of it as much as you can, right? And then again, going back to how to seek, I know I'm touching on another point that was mentioned before, but I want us to take back the power to question people and be curious. Even if the person knows more than us, you're allowed to ask questions. You're allowed to interview someone who's about to be your advisor. You're allowed to interview someone who's about to be your trainer or your doctor. You're allowed to ask them for their credentials, ask to see their license, ask to see, proof of what they've done. And you're also allowed to literally have a conversation with them, because these days everyone's talking about energy, and it's real. You can tell how somebody is based on talking to them. Body language, all of those things. So for the people here who may not have an advisor yet, I want to encourage you to ask those questions. You don't have to go with the first person that you talk to. Go with the person that is most relatable, and that you connect to, and that I guess your gut is drawn to, right? You all know what a gut instinct is, right? Who here has ignored their gut instinct and some
capacity. Yeah.
Happen, right? All the time. So please, when it comes to finance too, we need to start trusting ourselves more. So I just wanted to add that.
Beautiful.
So that was it was a two-part question. So the first part with the parents, the first thing that comes to my mind is often, I'm assuming a lot of our parents probably weren't even born in Canada. Is that true? First generation immigrants. So they themselves may not even be up to date or understand the impacts of what they're doing at that time. Not an excuse, but it could be an option, right? Now, with that being said, as we're now adults and you're being asked to either co-sign or lend out money, for me personally, you have to build your own principles and rules behind it. So what I do for myself is, if someone asks me for money, I'm okay never getting it back. Now, if I'm hesitant about it and I'm not okay with it, then I just won't lend it. And then secondly, co-signing. Co-signing means that you are responsible for the debt. Point blank, period. So if you're not okay covering those payments, then don't co-sign. But if you're like, do you know why I can co-sign if shit hits the fan, pardon my French, and they're not able to pay, do you know what, I'm okay covering it until he or she gets back on her feet, then yeah, I'm okay co-signing it. That's like maybe an easy rule. But everyone's going to be different. That's just me personally. But naturally, I would be shocked if you haven't been put in one of those two situations before. But you just have to put your own policies in place and then stick by them. And then that'll probably be the easiest way to see if you have any situation.
Love that. Thank you.
Sorry, I just want to quickly add, super quick. So again, it's all like, for me, if I am giving somebody money, it's a gift. If I want it back, I'm writing a contract. It's simple, right? Shout out to my brother, he's in the room, he's in real estate. We've done stuff together. I know where he lives. And contracts.
Wow.
Contracts. Family, this, that. Listen, if you want the money back, you have to write something up. You have to sign it. You have to date it. You have to create some sort of payment schedule, something. Too many times we are letting people borrow money, friends, partner, whatever, and then when they don't pay it back, we're upset. Okay, so we have to also, again, really piggybacking on what you said, the principles. If it's gonna be a gift, it's a gift. I'm cool with it. But if I want it back, we have to write something up.
Too, it's like sometimes we go to the wrong people too for advice, right? And it's almost like when you're sick, why would you go see a lawyer, right? When you're sick, you go see a doctor. So if you're having financial issues, don't call your mom, your dad, your friend looking for help. Go seek financial advisors. So any other questions from the audience before? Oh, we have many.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got the mic. I'm the host now. Don't
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Okay. Just a question. Do we still see bootstrapping as a viable way to build a business? So just wanted to get the panelists' opinion on that.
Yeah, actually, great question. My family knows last year I bootstrapped my business. It's still a thing. I put $25K up, cash, my money, into my business. So it's definitely still a thing. But I'll allow you guys to go ahead. And this is because sometimes when I would go for funding to the bank, they consider us a nano business. And I don't know if anybody understands that technology, but they classify you as high risk. So even though I had amazing credit and I had money in the bank and I was asking for $25K, it was very hard to get funding, to the point they actually say, okay, you're a part of the Black Entrepreneur. Oh, let me bring you here. And for me personally, you guys said I don't really like to ask for things, so I had the money, I put it up, and if you could take a risk and do that, it still works, it's still viable.
Yeah, and I mean, to that point, like, if you're not willing to take that risk on yourself, why should anybody else, right? Like, if you don't want to put in $5,000, why should TD or why should this investor do it, right? And again, that also goes back to this relationship with money. If you don't understand what your relationship with money is and how you view money and how you kind of navigate your personal finances, no one else is really gonna believe in yourself, right? So for me personally, I'm one of those people where it's like, if I have to put 25K just so I can prove to you that like I believe in this more than anybody else, then so be it. And we have to also be willing to that. Like, why do we want other people to take a gamble on us and we can't take a gamble on our own selves, right? So I'm 100% like, even if you can't, figure out the best way to do it, because then that also just proves to you as the owner like how far you can go and the lengths that you can take to truly get to whatever goal it is that you have for your business.
Yeah.
I think we're also having two different conversations here, because I hear often about it seems like we're talking about like startup, venture capital, but then there's also debt financing, right? Which is a little bit more of my area of expertise. But Canada is not a commercially aggressive country at all in comparison to the States. So I know we all probably watch Earn Your Leisure, and things of that nature. And you hear about these crazy products. Oh, I walked to the bank to give me a 50,000 personal line of credit because I had a 680 credit score. That's never happening in Canada. It's not happening, right? Canada is not a commercially aggressive country. Our monetary system is not as big, not as vast as America, way smaller, all right? So yes, you have no other way but to put up your own capital, especially if you are a startup, right? And believe it or not, regardless, right? We work with a lot of commercial account managers, and they come to us, they turn down 80% of all businesses that come through their door. Mm-hmm. Black, white, Hispanic, Italian, it doesn't matter, because they want you to put your own skin in the game, right? So if you need, I don't know, you're buying a business for $300,000, they want to see you're putting up $50K, $100K, especially if you're a new startup. Because the bank is like, that doesn't make sense. We don't know, this is a lot of risk. We don't know your success. You've never done this before. Where's your track record, right? And then it goes back to credit, financials, and all that stuff. But just understand Canada, we have to understand also the economy that we're playing in. Canada is not commercially aggressive. You are going to either need to leverage your own personal line of credit or credit card, or savings, cash from your family, or whatever you need to do to at least get it off the ground to show proof of income.
Absolutely. Right? Thank you. So we'll just take, I think there's one question. I saw a hand, actually two. We're just being conscious of time. So we'll take one, two. I really want to help you guys out, so we'll take two. Go ahead.
My question was actually for you. I didn't think of this during the AI topic, but my question is, I know you said AI is the future and that it's a revolution, but is there any point where AI could potentially become a threat?
That's a good question, actually. So when we look at AI right now, it's actually probably one of the most unregulated industries right now. There's a lot of issues going on with the data, where they're getting the data from, how the data is being secured. So there's a book that I actually read, and reading is actually one of the greatest things I can empower everybody with. It's called 2040, and it actually talks about where AI could lead us. And they're saying that it can have a lot of effects on the human race, because with humans, so God created us to create, and we create all the time. We create kids, we create family, houses. So we are in the moment of creating AI, and we're gonna go to a point where there's something called artificial super intelligence, where it's actually gonna super advance the human intellect, triple to what we have now. So is it gonna be harmful? I mean, this is why I urge more people to get into AI that kind of look like me, because the people that are creating it, as you can see, he mentioned billions of dollars are being pumped into it. So what is the end goal here? When I sat with actually one of this really great subject matter expert in the field, he couldn't even see past 5 years. So that's very alarming. When I'm asking him, how does 2030 look? He said he can't even see the future of AI. That's how fast and rapid it's changing right now. So I can't really answer that directly, but I can tell you that it's an unregulated industry right now, and that's a big concern for me personally. So right now we have the governments, like the US government, that's trying to regulate it as much as possible, because we have China, we have Japan that are creating AI drones, bots, and You know, there was even a time where there was something that happened in the U.S. where it was like a balloon. I don't know if you guys remember in the news.
That was floating over.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
that was a spy.
Yeah, they tried to distract us, but really it was a drone from another country that flew into the U.S. So there's a lot of different things that could hinder us. Absolutely. There's a lot of movies. Actually, there's a show too I'd urge you to watch. Do you guys remember Jetson? I don't want to sound... But actually, that's one of the shows that I'd actually urge you to watch if you want to see where AI is going. A lot of these movies, Simpson, they actually show you the future. And a lot of us is like, oh, when we watch The Matrix, who watched The Matrix? We're just like, what is this? But this is honestly the direction that we're moving into, and it's actually really rapid. And when I first heard about AI, I never would have thought that it would have advanced so quickly. And I'm in AI, I can't even keep up. Actually, I went to Atlanta with my sister, and every morning, you can attest, I was watching AI. And she said to me, is this what you do every morning? I'm like, yeah, because I can't keep up. So there's a lot of things happening right now in the space. So be vigilant because it's moving at a rapid speed. There was one more question. Dom, can you grab him? Thanks.
Good evening.
Last question for this.
Just going back to credit for a second. Now, I don't know if many of you know this, but it was created in 1989, so some of us are older than credit itself in this room. What are some tips that you may have for improving your credit? I know paying it on time is the basic one that most people talk about, but for example, could be put on somebody's card as an authorized user who has a phenomenal credit score. Could that help you out? So just want to ask about that.
Yes, so who here knows that you should only use 30% of your credit card limit or less? Okay, I'd like to see the hands. A lot of the people that I talk to have no idea. And so what they're doing is they're racking up their credit card, they're paying it off the next day. They're like, why is my credit score so low? Right, so that's one of the biggest things, getting that utilization rate down. Of course, paying your bills on time. One trick that my mentor taught me when I was first improving my credit score, about 3 years ago, my credit score was 476, and I had no idea about credit, debt, none of that. And I got a credit card and I started making my monthly payment and my score was barely moving. She's like, make multiple payments per month.
Yes.
My score increased. Now, results not guaranteed, but it works for my clients, it worked for me, it worked for my cousin. When I started making those multiple payments per month, at that time it was 2. Right now I maybe make 2 to 3. My score increased over 300 points in about 6 months. So that's a trick that works. Getting negative things off of your report, right? So if you had a closed card, you paid it off, you can actually request those things to be removed. Obviously, they don't want to do it because it's extra work, but you can get it removed. Prior to 7 years, I've had it done. Those negative things do still affect your score. And then also diversification. So once you master credit and debt, you understand that you actually do want to have access to credit. You do want to use the debt to build your credit score. And it is good to have a little, oh my God, I was about to say combination, you know. Anyways, yeah, like you want to have a little combination, a little variety, a little, you know. So, you know, as you're responsible, a line of credit, a credit card, or maybe a car loan and a mortgage, so those kind of things, they like to see how you're responsible paying off different types of debt. So those are just a couple things that you can do to increase your credit score. Does anyone want to add?
I would say one major thing too is understanding the season that you're currently in, right? Is it a season of high spending? Is it a season of kind of reset? For me, what worked was really just after I graduated university and I started to like get a big girl job and I was earning more than I'd ever seen before, I was like, okay, where am I currently and what can I do? And what I really like is, I think his name is Dave Ramsey's snowball effect. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
So I sat down and I told myself, okay, my goal is, I was 21 at the time. I said, I want to buy a house by the time I'm 25. And there's a lot of things that I had to do. I had to get my nails done twice a month. I had to get my hair, I had to go out. I had to do all those things to make me feel pretty. But after university, I moved back home and I was like, hey, this is like prime opportunity for me to save and improve on my credit score. I'm not paying rent. I have the opportunity to work from home, so I don't need to pay my transportation. OSAP is there, we're fine, whatever. Like OSAP, we'll get to her when we get to her. But I really looked at what I had going on in my life, and I just started to do like a process of elimination, right? At that time, I knew that I didn't have too many big bills. So that meant that I could tackle the debts that I already had, right? Knowing that once you start to change and transition into different seasons, that at least what you did during that low season will allow you to get higher. Now I have a mortgage, but I also don't have little small debts, right? Because I knew that, that maybe $500 credit card I didn't pay in university or whatever, I had going on was already taken care of because I was preparing myself for a season where I would be earning more, but we all know more money, more problems, right? So really just take the time to assess where you're at, what you can live without, what you can kind of just put aside for a little while, and then when you find yourself in that position where you're like, wow, I can go back to doing my nails maybe 3 times now, or, purchasing this and that, you will know that you're comfortable enough because you've managed to get rid of all the little things that could potentially stop you from the big things. Because who wants to go to apply for a mortgage and you find out that the cell phone that you didn't pay a couple of years ago is what's stopping you, right? So really taking that time to assess the small things, get rid of it, and then work your way up like that.
Perfect, thank you. Awesome, how are you guys feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling, honestly, I love it. Did we have any questions before we wrap up? No? Okay, one more. We're going to take one more question and then we're going to close.
It's all said a lot, but can we just give a round of applause for Joëlle? Like, she said she had a goal of buying a house and she bought her house. So I just wanted to
And let's just give a big round of applause for our guest speakers. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get everybody to get up because we gotta shake up and we gotta do this right. Let's do it. Everybody up. Can we get everybody from outside to come inside?
That went fast. Yeah. That was quick. Yeah, that was quick.
Okay. Turn to your left and say, I can.
I can.
No, come on, guys. I thought we did this before. We practiced this. Come on. Turn to somebody and say, I can. With power, like you know it. I can. Next time. I will. Look now, look at yourself. I must. There's nobody holding me back. Let's do this again. Come on. Everybody in the back. Let's do this. Let's go, guys. We're about to move forward. You're not leaving the same tonight. Who's leaving different tonight? Who feels like they moved forward tonight?
Yeah,
who's going to try ChatGPT today? Come on, guys. Let's try this again. Who's going to try ChatGPT today to write your new post for Instagram, for your company, your pitch? Come on. We dropped a lot of gems today. I can.
I can.
I will.
I will.
And I must. Let's do it for the vendors at the side. I can.
I can.
I will. And I must. Thank you guys so much. Move her forward. Let's go.
Thank you so much. That was really information.
Yeah, we're gonna get one.
Thank you guys, Joëlle,
Just stay right
Shay,
here.
Edwina.
Thank you. Stay right here.
I feel super empowered. That was a lot of
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Thank
apply
you.
tomorrow, the next week, the next month, the rest of my life. And I hope that you guys take away a lot of stuff that you guys can implement into your life going forward. So we're not wrapping up just yet. I know we had from 5 to 10. I want to let you guys know you guys can stay put, get to know each other. You guys said a lot to the people on the left and the right. Make sure you guys go and network and take a look at these sponsors that we have. They have a lot of amazing products and services to offer. Feel free to go and enter.
Thank you.